Today, Weebs and Weirdos, we're going to be talking about one of the most controversial communities in the anime community, which is BL manga. Specifically, we're going to be looking at the 2000s and the many problems within the BL Shonen Ai communities that makes things very questionable and look very bad. And how those things haven't really changed. Yes, it's better, I think, than how it used to be, but we should really change our standards here. Today I'm going to be using BL as kind of like a umbrella term for the multiple different types of homosexual Japanese media. There are many different terms that I'll probably use. For example, shonen ai, which is kind of more BL, more focused on romance. And you'll also hear the term yaoi, which is a lot more spicy. But all of these is talking about male with male relationships, something that you will commonly see in many different forms of BL manga is consistently seeing toxic relationships being portrayed, especially a specific trope that I'm going to name for you guys. You've probably heard this term before because it's also seen in a lot of straight media, which is called dubious consent, also known as dubcon. To give you a bit of context, it is where there is kind of like this blurred line between is it consensual? Well, it is assumed to the viewers or readers that that relationship is consensual, but the main issue is focused on how one of the characters, usually the uke, which is, you know, the character that's more submissive, the person who is being pursued is often questioning their sexuality, or they don't feel comfortable accepting the fact that they are interested in other men, which is often when you see dubious consent. You gotta keep in mind the fact that in Japan, they've basically been influenced by the West, been a shift in a conservative mindset where they tolerate homosexual relationships, but it's still not really that openly accepted. In Japanese culture, most people don't want to become a bother to other people, and so it's one of those things where it makes sense if you understand the context of Japan, but from a Western perspective, it's very questionable. And it's really sad because this is the way that homosexual relationships are being portrayed, especially considering the fact that like people in real life probably have been in similar situations. So yes, is it questionable? But considering it's the early 2000s and there's not a lot of media openly ready for anyone who's LGBT to consume, it makes sense why it would be this type of thing. You will also see just toxic relationships in general bordering on kind of a sense of romantic abuse or like emotional abuse. The characters have maybe communication problems or different problems that you will probably not see portrayed in straight relationships. One of the most famous examples, I would say, well, one of the animes that I believe would be one of the more popular ones would be Sekaiichi Hatsukoi. Very toxic, very frustrating. Papa to Kiss in the Dark. Koisuru Buken. One character is a writer. One of them, I'm pretty sure, is like very, oh, I hate gay people, but they end up in a gay relationship. Yeah, there is a lot of toxicity within that genre during that time. It's a lot less toxic nowadays, but we will get into that. Time to get into the more darker stuff. The bad side, as in criminally bad side of the 2000s BL. There are major problems where there's minor coded characters, or like a character who is straight out of high school dating like this really old guy and is like middle-aged, huge age gaps. One thing you'll see the most age gaps for would be like in Jonjo Romantica, where it's literally like it's so bad, guys. almost every relationship in Junjo Romantica is like there's like this age gap, and it's really funny because there's one specific relationship where they have only like a 4-year age gap, but they make it all about the age gap, where the strangely huge character age gaps is just kind of like let go, like it's just age gap. What? They don't even think about it, like, which is so crazy to me how they're not even self-aware at all. The most popular examples of that adult and minor dynamic would have to be Hitori Yume My Hero and Super Lovers. Super Lovers, I'm pretty sure that it's like the anime came out in like 2010, but like it's close enough to the early 2000s, I'd say. It's basically about this one guy who raised a younger brother, and he was like roughly teenager, older teenager age, and so he was raising a literal child, and then that child ends up becoming his partner, and when they end up showing that interest for each other, the kid's still underage. That's not cool. That's not cool at all. Another example would definitely be like Loveless. Not only is it very toxic, but also there is that age gap where, you know, the uke is in high school still, which is, you know, great. Kind of like a trigger warning, because I'm kind of going to be talking about essay a bit. If that makes you uncomfortable, just skip to this time. I'm not really going to talk about it too much or get into the nitty-gritties, but yeah, there is a bit of essay being romanticized. One of the best examples I can pick is Junjo Romantica again, where technically it's trying to go for dubcon, but it's leaning more towards essay, if I'm being completely fair, because not only is this character very young, I'm pretty sure barely legal, like barely an adult, so it's very minor coded. And then there's also some of the newer examples that aren't really from the 2000s, but it shows that really not much has changed, would be, you know, Love Stage. At least in there, it's not really romanticized, and the characters really do explicitly say that, oh, this is not cool, this person regrets it, it was not cool, but it's still in there, and they still end up together, which is not, like, bro is literally traumatized. That is, no. Another reason to prove that anime hasn't really gotten better, there's still SA in Given, which is relatively newer. Of course, it's not like new now, and a lot of people know Given. I feel like Given got pretty popular enough for anyone who's in the BL community would know of Given. People just kind of glossed over the fact that it was very much an essay thing going on. Like, bro was not really consenting at all. Like, you cannot tell me that is dubcon, because that is not dubcon. Moving on from our shameful past, there is still hope, because there is a way where you can portray queer relationships in a positive light. Everyone, mostly everyone, loved Sasaki to Miyono. I'm not personally super interested in Sasaki to Miyono. It's not really my, I don't know, I don't really vibe with it, but a lot of people, that's like the best version of a healthy gay relationship that we've had for a while. There's still kind of like this insecure attachment style between the two that's kind of going on, but it's not necessarily toxic. Possibly, depending on how you feel, it can be up for debate. It's still better than what we've seen before. There is still a problem within the community about the worry of fetishization between MLM relationships, mainly because of the fact that a lot of women are interested in BL. It's very popular with a lot of women. Probably because of the Bishoujo type, which is very feminine men. Usually for a lot of BL manga, it is the most popular ones that have kind of like this Bishoujo type male characters. It's not that we don't have more masculine BL manga out there, because there is literally Bara, which is like manga specifically meant for more masculine men being together. It's just kind of more popular. I'm not really sure why. Maybe because it's written by women. I personally don't have too much of a problem about it because we are constantly seeing, you know, straight relationships being portrayed and very popularly everywhere, because everywhere you look there's straight relationships in every mainstream TV shows, movies, you name it, let alone the amount of, you know, schmexy, spicy scenes that you will see of straight relationships. If someone who is LGBT is going to watch a straight relationship with a spicy scene in it, does that mean they're fetishizing straight relationships? No! It all depends on how you see it, and I feel like it's also probably a case-to-case basis. If someone's literally being weird about two people in real life that know each other who are LGBTQ plus, and being like about their, like, I've never met someone like that, but I'm sure there's probably some people like that out there. That is completely different, and I don't think that means we should take away resources, take away characters from different types of relationships. I don't think you can control the different weirdos that are out there, but I don't see anything wrong with portraying different types of relationships, considering the fact that Westerners have had a huge impact on anime lately because of the popularization of anime in, you know, Western countries. It wouldn't surprise me if we were to see an improvement in more queer representation. There's obviously going to be a change in the way anime is made and the different stories that are going to be represented. I'm really hoping to see an improvement on healthier relationship dynamics, and I hope that maybe you learned something from this video. I suck at outros. As much as I criticize Love Stage, I do really recommend it.